graduated, elevated. Now it's my time to shine. Yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves. Take it to the top one time, non-stop.
So, going back to your point that you made initially, which was when you're picking your supervisor, pick the right one. But also, I think there's something there in terms of maintaining relationships because you've maintained that relationship. That's why you can go back and say, I'm a bit down. What is the next step? Essentially, and you have that mentorship and guidance, which is lovely. So, to everybody at home, maintain the relationships that you have with your supervisors.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, like, choose your supervisor in such a way, because your supervisor is not only going to decide your academic, that short-term PhD, it's just 3 years, but you need someone who can be also your guide for lifelong. So, like, what I got from my supervisor is like, he is not only guided me for academically, but also any kind of advice. So even in case of personal life as well, he was there always. So it's super good. Choose your supervisor very carefully.
Lovely. No, I love that. Now, going on to branding, because nowadays, I think there's an oxymoron, and that's the AI aspect, because now you can build something and have it pretend to be a human being or a brand, and life goes on, essentially, in terms of governance. But building your brand and making sure that it's there, it's accessible for the scientific community. How did you go about with that, and how are you maintaining it with so much change with AI, as I mentioned?
So, AI is coming and AI will continue. The only thing is that you need to get equipped with AI. So, for example, I had no coding skills, didn't used AI stuff much. But the time I started my company, now I'm really pro in using ChatGPT and other platforms. And like, you just need to keep on changing, not changing, like, adapt yourself. Because there is this like survival of the fittest. This sentence is a long way it has been told. So it's that, okay, AI came, fine, you adapt the AI and make this tool as your weapon. Not a weapon, but it's like basically, yes, like helping hand basically. Yeah.
So the reason why I'm asking is because I think there's a teenage boy, I saw this on the news, I think a few days back, and he fell in love with a chat bot, basically, and he's committed suicide. So in terms of governance, when it comes to AI, is problematic. And then you have people on TikTok like Eddie Abu. He talks about health stuff in the UK, like how to eat right, basically, and stay away from, he calls it sugary shit. That's his terminology, in terms of language there. And basically, people are doing advertisements with AI faces pretending to be him. So in terms of regulation, I think there's a challenge, even though now I can go on ChatGPT and ask for a code for PhD hardtalk and I'll have an app tomorrow, right? Life goes on instead of spending a lot of money. But in terms of governance, I think that scares me slightly. In terms of my voice and your voice, someone could create anything tomorrow and we would be trending for things that we did not say. So that's where I'm coming from with AI. What are your thoughts with the examples that I've just shared?
Right. I mean, I have also heard similar kind of stories, and saw some reels. It's really scary, to be honest. When a new kind of things get introduced, there are good things as well as there are bad things. Just the thing is that as a human being, we just need to take care of this, that we are only adapting the good part of it, because there is bad part in everything. There is nothing which is only good. So definitely government is also taking care of it. And this is like something, one side is public awareness is needed, another side is like government policies are needed, which definitely, that Europe is also working, entire world is working on it. Such kind of fake videos are there, but for that, I think like this is something which is like we cannot do much, but the government can actually do something on that, and they're taken care of. Slow, maybe sometimes the process is slow because the AI is moving very fast, but definitely it will be taken care of.
No, love that. Thank you. So in terms of social media then and pinQin, have I said it right? pinQin. I have, innit? I've been practicing, you see. How do you go about making sure that everybody knows who you are? Because we have the global south, and sometimes with Wi-Fi challenges, they are there and they want to network, they want to be a part of, you know, the scientific community. Because, and also, just as an example, I used to host spaces and there were people in Pakistan who would join and they wanted to publish and they were looking for people to collab with in their field who were outside of Pakistan to try and get into a new market, essentially. But because of cost as well, to pay for publications, which is a different topic altogether, that we can discuss later, you know, they found it quite challenging, you know, to pay for their publications, but they wanted to collab so that it's cheaper, but also they, you know, Western articles, so they get cited more, so they can get a job essentially. You know, how are you ensuring that the people, the community that you have, you know, they're accessible from that side of the world, which is the global south, essentially?
Right. So actually in pinQin, we have this travel mode.
Mhm.
So what you can do, let's suppose you are in Pakistan and you are a student, you are looking for a PhD. Let's suppose in your in University of Dublin, someone is looking for. So what the student can do is basically change his change the location to Dublin, and then actually interact with the PhD students or people who are, let's suppose they want to do a PhD on like genetic engineering. So they can actually pick up the keywords and they can actually try to find the people who are in Dublin working on that. So what will happen, you will start to like completely organically build a network, build a connection with these people, although you are in Pakistan, so you do not need to fly from there. And then when you actually have a low pressure communication, because here no one is going to judge you that how you communicate and all, then a bond will be created. And this is what is our, you know, main goal. It's like there is no pressure, ask questions, communicate, build the bond, and then move forward. So just like, for example, choosing a PhD supervisor. If you write someone like, hey, can you tell about your PhD supervisor? Everyone will, I barely think like someone will literally say like, no, I don't like my PhD supervisor. But if you meet that person over a drink, you will get a lot of information. And that is the reality. So we are like, create a like chill network where people are not pressurized from anywhere. They can also look for people in a particular location, find them, talk to them. And then when they finally arrive, let's suppose this student arrived to Dublin, they already have some friends there. They do not need to, of course, they will make more friends, but they already have some friends. So this is how we are going to help them.
So it's like HR going, this is a safe environment. You can say whatever you want to say, no repercussions, basically,
Yeah.
in terms of concept.
Yeah. And be respectful, of course. Be
Yes, of course,
respectful.
of course.
And communicate. I mean, maximum number of people, you know, the problem is like people do not communicate and they assume a lot. And that, okay, if I say like this, someone will judge me. If I say like that, okay, this person will think like this. Okay. And in that thought process, they lose many things. So that is what we are trying to normalize. Like, no, it's not. Openness is very important. Yeah.
So, you know, listening to the concepts in terms of how it works, the functionality, to me, it sounds like it's the way forward. It sounds like a dating site because you go on there, you say, this is me, and then you go for a coffee, don't you? And then you go X, definitely not going back again, and you block the person and you move on with your life, right? But in this instance, it's more of, networking and getting to know people. And if people want to find pinQin, can they download it on their Apple, Android
Mhm.
phones? I had to
Yes.
think then. Sorry, I have an Apple
Yes.
phone. I was like, what's the other one?
Yeah, the application is live right now. We are running the beta version of it. So obviously we're taking also feedback from people, regarding everything like user interface and all. So yes, you can download it from both Google Play Store and App Store. This is available. This is, and second, also the point what you said, it's like a dating application. It's true. It's like, matchmaking. So any kind of matchmaking is like you can, it's up to you what kind of how you perceive it. But yes, in our matchmaking procedure, gender dependency is not there. So means doesn't matter. It's not like that that you are a man and you will only you have no choice that you only can say like I want to meet with women doing science. No, not that. So yeah,
What if
our
it's cultural, actually? That's a good point, isn't it? What if it's culturally, I can't meet with women. I have to speak to men only. And that's my
look,
culture or religion.
look, what I feel is like, when we are actually in this domain, for example, science has its own thing, arts. When you talk about art, language and all, there, I think this gender biasness should already be removed
Mm.
because you cannot say if there is something religiously point, then I cannot comment on that. But if I share my own opinion, for me, like, as a scientist, I look for another scientist, not their gender. uh, if the person is good doing good science, yeah, that's it. That is what I need to know. And that's why, like in pinkin, the matchmaking basically happen on the basis of a skill set. So the
Mm.
thing is that you want to do a literature survey on, let's suppose, on particular population. So you can basically put it, and then you will be able to find people who are doing like that. Or you are working on, let's suppose, on immunotoxicology, and you just put that. So you will be able to find another immunotoxicologist. Now that person can be any gender. That's okay.
No, I love it. And I think it's always good for us to clarify on such technicalities because we still have the gender bias situations, whether religious or cultural. Because I had a comment the other day and I couldn't believe it, which was, men know more than women. And I said, in what aspect? And the gentleman then said, well, we can change tires of a car. I said, I knew how to, but I just forgot. I was taught. It's just a skill that I never used. And he said, well, you see, men know more. And I said, wow, that is powerful. And, we still have such things going on in this day and age. So thank you very much for clarifying so that people know what they're getting themselves into when they download the app. And in
Yeah.
terms of the next step then, if people want mentoring, is it a paid service for them to get mentorship on your app, or is it for free?
So at this moment, actually, we do not have any like mentoring service and all that is not there. Definitely for premium features. For example, if someone is sitting in Pakistan and want to move to change the location to Dublin in Ireland, definitely, yeah, this kind of premium features are there. All or like we also have this emergency message, like priority messaging system. Let's suppose you're doing an experiment, you are stuck and you literally want someone's answer, like, okay, how to do this thing. So such kind of priority things and all premium features, there is a paid option. But other than that, it is like a community based thing. So it's like, for example, you have a lot of experience in how to guide in PhD, so you actually share your experience with someone. Then obviously we also believe in this thing, like when you help someone, someone else also help you. And this is how the things actually we are like, this is our thought.
No, I love that. And so the next question is in terms of the app itself, um, for people who are neurodivergent, and needs certain colors, for example, you know, in the app, do you have such services or facilities for them? Or blind people who need the audio in order for them to know what they're going through, essentially, is that an option that's available? I don't know if we have any blind people, you know, working in labs, but I just thought I'd ask the question.
No, I mean, at this moment, like we do not have such kind of feature, but definitely we would love to think about this aspect as well. That's a very good point. Thank you for bringing that. Yeah.
No, lovely. So going back to, you know, we're rounding off in terms of the business. You have to recruit your staff, and we all know how people are. Me, I say I don't like people, but I have to work with people, so I've learned to adapt. But you know, after a certain period of time, I'm like, I go back to being shy and, you know, less talkative. How have you adapted? Because working in the labs and then having to deal with people who come with, my dog died, I need time off, or I'm going on holiday, I have to extend my holiday now. How do you manage such HR issues having this startup?
So here, first thing is like, we are still in a very early stage. So it's not
Mhm.
like that we are working with a lot of people. And here at this moment, people with whom we are working, they are by themselves are invested quite a lot.
Mhm.
So not like I need to poke a lot to them. They are self-motivated. That's why in the early stage, they are in the project. So I have not faced this issue, but actually I am preparing myself, taking a lot of leadership courses to understand, like, how to also respect and respond to your like the other people. So I'm still learning.
No, I love your honesty. I had the academic redhead. I don't know if you follow her on socials, and I asked her this question, which I will ask you. Someone took her idea and went ahead and started a business. The same thing, the same concept, basically. And obviously, she's doing her PhD and she's got a startup as well. And she said, I took it as a compliment. If somebody that you work with now, because they know the blueprint and they know the ins and outs of everything, because you can't hide anything because it's a small team. If they were to take your idea and go ahead and start something else, would you be offended? How would you take that?
So in that case, obviously we have the IP, which is protecting. We have the other like trademark and all, which is protected. So I think, like, of course, someone can copy anything, but your execution strategy is your unique point. So how exactly we are going to grow this application, that we only know, and that many things are also linked with my own network,
Mhm.
how we have built it. So actually copying just a application or a feature is easier, but execution is always tough. So it's okay if someone is able to do that and help the community. Yeah, most welcome. It's fine. Yeah.
Lovely. No, I love that. Thank you very much. So, you know, in terms of the next question, which is publish or perish, going back to the PhD side, you've published a lot and you're really happy with your accomplishments. Would you say that it's good that it's drilled in us to say we need to publish, 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 or would you say no, it's not necessary?
Publish what actually makes sense. Don't just publish anything. There is already a lot of garbage things around. So yeah, I mean, publishing, this is a very tricky question actually. One side, to get the next position, you need to publish. On the other side, in some fields, you need time to publish. This is one of the reason people get frustrated.
Mhm.
But yeah, I will always encourage a good publication, good data, and of course, so many universities also do have rules like you need to publish this many. But you will be able to handle. I'm pretty sure. Like any student, they will find out their own way how they want to handle, whether they want to collaborate with more people, sharing the if like workload, or they want to work alone. So that's really up to them.
Lovely. The next question is, do you think having higher education in terms of a PhD or a postdoc breaks the poverty cycle? Or do you think, no, it's not true, Norma? It doesn't.
It's actually definitely, when you are PhD, it's like it means like you have enough of knowledge which you can leverage. Means definitely it is going to help you financially as well. So from this you can take the answer that more educated you are, you know your way out from whatever the situation you are. So education is really important.
Thank you very much. And the next question is, when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, women are still being viewed as less than. I think we've touched on this. Do you think universities need to do a lot more for women? For example, they are young people, and I'll say young in the sense of they're still doing their PhD and their postdoc, so it doesn't matter the age, they're young in that sense. And they become pregnant, and sometimes there are no maternity policies, and they still have to pay their uni fees and still come back to the labs breastfeeding, and it's a struggle. And if they don't work on what they need to finish, it doesn't get published, and obviously that affects their funding. So a lot of young women are under duress because of that. What are your thoughts, when it comes to equity, and diversity and inclusion in that sense?
Yeah, so basically you are asking on the aspect of equality and diversity, right? So
Yes,
in that
of
case,
women.
yes, and I mean, you know that in Europe it is pretty well established. So when you get pregnant, you definitely have a lot of benefits, and you are protected by the government itself. So I mean, on this thing, I have seen my colleagues also in this kind of situation, but they were very well treated as well. So I cannot comment on the other side because I know that in Europe it is very much protected. And about other countries, honestly, I do not have the knowledge, so on which I cannot comment. But there should be equality. I mean, like if a woman getting pregnant, that's a natural process, right? So this is
Mm.
nothing. Giving birth is natural. It's nothing abnormal, and definitely government do recognize that. And that's why there is protection, there is rules, there are like a lot of things. So yeah.
No, lovely. So we've come to the final question. And the question is, so why did you agree to come and PhD Hard Talk? And also, do you think PhD Hard Talk is beneficial for the scientific community at large? Or do you think, Norma, call it a day, it's not working, it's not beneficial?
It's definitely beneficial. And why I particularly came, because, after finishing my PhD today, where I'm standing, I see a lot of points which I should have, like if I would have knowledge about it, I would have reacted in a very different way. For example, about startup, if I
Mm.
knew that there is a possibility, I would have started my startup from my PhD time only. In that case, I would have much more longer runway. And then this transferable skill, what I just told you, that PhD students always neglect about their transferable skills. This kind of information, yeah, it's not always available. And I wanted to share my first-hand experience, like, what I like actually experienced, I'm just sharing. It's nothing like I'm giving some information which is like very bookish or like very, easy to say. It's
Mm-hmm.
the things what I have handled, and that's why when I read the name, so for me it's like PhD hard talk means actually I can give the true information for all the prospective PhD students or who are doing PhD, and which will help them, and definitely I want to help them. So that is my reason to like jump on this call, and really thank you for that.
Lovely. Thank you very much. So, if you do want to get in contact with Dr. Arindam, the details there at the bottom. And if you want to download, I think we'll share a link to download the app. In terms of pinQin, it's at the bottom. And also, you can find pinQin on Instagram because I'm there. If you're not there, what are you waiting for? Start following. Uh, let's be in situ. And I'm not a scientist like that. I don't play in the lab. I read a lot more. So, make sure you're locked in. And thank you very much for your time. It has been really insightful and for taking us through your journey, because I've spoken to a few PhD students. So we have Dr. Shristi Singh. She's in the US. She started her startup and she's business partnering with her university, but it also links into her visa situation and getting the patents and everything else. So she was able to go through that. So I think there's a follow on from different perspectives. So hopefully these videos will be able to benefit anybody that's thinking, right, I've got an idea, let me crack on. So thank you very much.
Thank you.